Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real, and I'm your host, Bob Gallagher. Joining me in the studio today is our very special guest, Nelson Zide of ERA Key Realty Services in Framingham, Mass. Welcome to the show, Nelson.
Thank you, Bob. Pleasure to be here.
Again, pleasure to be here again. I mean, practically have a recurring role on the show.
Well, I love to be a guest host anytime you want, Bob.
Yes,
it's okay.
you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So why don't we tell the audience a little bit about what's going on in real estate in Metro West these days?
Well, like a lot of different areas, the Metro West real estate market is not much inventory.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true, not only Metro West, but I think all over the place.
Right.
That inventory is definitely at a low end of the spectrum. And it has nothing to do with the holiday season, but has to do. This has been going on for almost 2 years plus, where we just don't have enough people who want to sell, especially on the lower end spectrum, the first or second time homes, to buy the third and fourth homes.
Right.
And because you don't have the lower end, it makes it very difficult to have enough inventory. And with not enough inventory, you have many more buyers than you have sellers.
Right.
So a lot of homes are selling fairly quickly, not all,
right,
but a lot. And you have the buying frenzy like you do, not as bad as downtown Boston.
Right.
But, in some other areas, maybe even Newton and Brookline,
right,
which I've heard, it's not really my marketplace, but I've heard the same thing. You put something on the market, especially if it's a reasonable price for what that house is, it's gone very quickly.
Right. And Framingham's getting pretty expensive these days because everything around it has gotten so outrageous.
Yes.
It seems like a bargain, right?
Right. Right now, we are a bargain. If you compare us to Natick or Newton or Wellesley, we are a huge bargain.
Right.
But our prices are going up and up and up. We have already surpassed our high of what it was back before the crash.
Yeah.
So we are on the upswing, and there doesn't seem to be anything on the horizon that's going to say anything different.
Right.
Except if we get nuked by North Korea. That's a different story.
Yeah,
but other than that, we're okay.
That'll be a problem for more than just Framingham.
Well, that's probably true. I've just mentioned that. Other than that, we're okay.
Good. So before we got started today, Nelson, you and I were talking about buyers' expectations in the marketplace.
Right.
And you were talking about, how things have changed over the past couple of years where, well, not even a couple now, it's like 5-6 years where, we went from a buyer's market to a seller's market. It seemed like almost overnight. And then it just kept going. Why don't you kind of talk a little bit about what buyers' expectations are these days and how best to work with them? Well,
it's really interesting, Bob. I've seen a shift in the buyers' expectations, certainly in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the shift is, here's what's happened normally. A house gets listed on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It says no showings till open house Saturday and Sunday to build up the frenzy.
Yeah.
So then you have a frenzy for an open house. Hundreds of people show up. Well, maybe 30, but that's close.
A lot.
Sometimes we've had as many as 100.
Yeah.
You go crazy and you say offers will be presented on Monday. So you end up with multiple offers. A lot of times it's over full price. A lot of times the buyers are making some very hasty and what I really think sometimes not correct decisions, like waiving home inspections, waiving appraisals, waiving financing. I mean, just because they are so desperate to buy this house.
Right.
Because there's like nothing else out there.
Right.
So that was the frenzy for a while, really almost from last spring through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the fall, it seems to be a little different. You still have the frenzy. We're still seeing that. And what's happening is if the house isn't sold during that time frame, the buyers are now saying, well, what's wrong?
Right.
Why hasn't it sold? And instead of going back and now taking a relook at that house, where now they have the opportunity to buy it for maybe less than asking price, maybe, to have all the terms more what they want, not having to go with the total seller's terms. They're saying there's something wrong. I don't want to do that. I want to wait until another new house comes on the market, go back into the frenzy, which makes no sense to me.
No.
And if it's not so then, or I don't get it, I'm just going to keep on waiting till the next new one comes on. And this is not just me. I've talked to a lot of realtors in the area, and they're saying the same thing. They don't understand why these buyers want to become involved in the frenzy.
Right.
When they can go 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later, make an offer on a place and get a better deal.
Right.
And they say, no, there's something wrong. And they don't know there's nothing wrong.
Well, what could be wrong is perception. The perception is that, well, look at all these people at this open house. It's going to sell for a ridiculously high amount. So I'm just not even going to make an offer.
Right.
And if you get enough people thinking that way, nobody makes an offer and the house doesn't sell.
And then they keep on waiting, and they say, well, okay, maybe shouldn't I go back and revisit because it had a lot of what I was looking for?
Right.
And they say, oh, no, there's got to be something wrong. No one bought it at the frenzy. And I'm saying, no.
And there had to be at least 5 or 10 people there who wanted that house desperately.
Yep. And now if they go back 2 weeks later because it's not sold, they can now go back and get a better price, better terms, better everything, because now the seller's in that same situation. The seller says, oh, my God, it hasn't sold. What's wrong?
Yeah.
So now when a new buyer comes in 2 weeks, a month later, and they now bring the offer, the seller says, okay, I've got to sell it because no one else is buying it.
Right.
I've got to take that.
Right.
So it's like a whole switch of what is happening in buyers' mindsets as well as sellers' mindsets. And there are a lot of realtors that I speak to in my marketplace who are saying, I don't understand why the buyers aren't coming back and making offers. And I just sit there shaking my head. I get beautiful house. I get it well priced. The feedback is well priced. And their buyers saying, oh, I'm going to wait. Or it's not just exactly for me. Or I don't know why. Or I'll look at a condo, but maybe I should buy a single family. I'm saying, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the days of being picky are gone. I mean,
right. It is.
If you're picky, you're not going to get a house.
No. I have a buyer now. I have a house coming up. And I told them about it. I think it's perfect for them. And they can get it at a very, very good price, well within their price range. Oh, I don't know. These guys have lost so much money in the last year because they haven't bought. Now they're going to lose even more money because they're in Framingham for under $350, which is I have better luck of getting a new girlfriend than buying that house. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of houses in Framingham in that price range anymore.
And not on the north side either.
Yeah.
So it's like, you've got to make some compromises, or would you rather keep on renting? And they lost a year's worth of tax deductions, a year's worth of appreciation, and by still not making a decision to buy, I don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe they like renting. If they do, great, tell me.
Yeah, and the appreciation's the big one. I mean, in Framingham, you're probably looking at what, close to 10%?
Yeah, we've had between 5 to 10 over the last year.
Yeah.
And that looks like it's going to continue over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, so on a $300,000 house, that's $15,000 to $30,000.
You're just kissing goodbye by not making a decision.
Right.
And, but that with your income and that tax break, that's almost another $4,000 to $5,000 in tax breaks you're losing every year, besides the appreciation.
It's very expensive not to buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can afford to buy, you are crazy not to buy. I
Right.
mean, yes, I'm self-serving. I readily admit that. So aren't you, Bob? But we are both self-serving.
Yes.
But the reality is, if you can afford to buy, why would you rent?
Right.
And you have to give me a good reason why you should rent. Oh, the job's only for a year. I know I'm only going to be here. I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
But if you think you're going to be here for a while, you are just foolish to paying $1,500 to $2,500 a month rent for a small apartment when you can even get a condo or a small house and have more room and at least make more money down the road.
Right.
So you're much better off that way.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So the holidays are upon us. We're fully in the holiday season, which is shocking. I can't believe how fast another year went by.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your new saying for the holiday season.
Well, I have a new old saying.
New old saying.
My new old saying is, buy a house for your spouse for the holidays.
I like it.
I mean, what other better present can you do for your spouse than buy a new house for you to move into?
That's right.
And if you bought it today, you could be in just right after the first of the year.
Right.
I won't say before the first of the year. I'll say
it could still happen if you buy it this week.
Buy it this weekend. We can get you in before the first of the year.
That's right.
But certainly if you buy something now, you're better off. You're always better off to buy yesterday. That's the marketplace we're in.
Yes.
If this was in the middle of the crash, you were better off waiting because the prices were going down and down and down.
Right.
Now they're going up and up and up.
Right.
And everyone says, I'm going to wait to the spring market. Bob, you know when the spring market is? January 3rd. That's the spring market.
It's true. There's just so much demand now.
Right. There is so much demand, and maybe people want to wait because they want to be with family for the holidays and they want to do this. That's all well and good. All the big shopping days are done.
Right.
Black Friday's done.
Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday's done. Local Saturday is done.
Yeah.
You've done all your shopping. Come on. Now buy the house for your spouse with whatever money you got left.
Right.
You want to buy the house for your spouse. But this is the time. Matter of fact, if you were buying December, which December is the worst month in real estate to buy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that. But if you're a buyer out there, this is the best opportunity because more sellers, if they're on the market, they really do want to sell.
Right.
And you may have a better opportunity to get a better deal
Right.
if you make your offers in December.
Yes.
Because no one ever thinks they're going to have any buyers look at the house. You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
So you want to buy now.
Right.
It's just, I love to start a campaign. Just buy now.
Right.
Because that's what you should be doing in real estate is always buying now. As long as it suits your needs, buy now.
Right. Don't wait. It'll be too late.
Don't
How about
wait,
that?
it'll be too late. I like that, Bob. That should be Ross Mortgage's new
Yeah,
slogan.
Yeah. You can borrow it. We'll let you borrow
Oh,
it.
you got to let me buy
Yeah,
it. Buy.
yeah.
What was that again? I can write this down.
Don't wait. It'll be too late.
Right. Don't wait. It'll be too
That's
late.
right.
That's
That's
a good
right.
one.
Yeah.
It'll be too late.
Yeah. So going back to selling
Yes.
during the winter, because a lot of people think, you know what, I'm not gonna list my house, or I'm not gonna start looking to buy a house until March, April, May, whatever the case may be.
Right.
What's your advice to those people?
What a bad mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reality is, yes. Well, there'll be the biggest months in real estate historically has always been, March, April, May, June. Those are your biggest sales months. Why? Because you have more houses for sale, but you have many more buyers out there as well.
Yes.
So you have more sales. If you're a buyer, wouldn't your mindset be you want to go in and buy with the least amount of competition, not the best?
Right.
And if you're a seller, yeah, you may want to wait. The flowers are in bloom and the grass is green. You don't have to worry about shoveling the snow when, God forbid, we have snow. But we are
Hopefully
going to
not.
have snow. we're up here in the Boston area. We're going to have snow.
Yep.
But you're saying, why? If you're not on the market as a seller, you have no chance of selling.
No.
If you're on the market, you have at least a chance of selling. I get 4 new houses coming up in December. 4 new houses coming up in December, and every single one of my sellers ask me the same question. Don't you think I should wait till March, April? I want to wait till the spring market. And then I told them, well, the spring market's January 3rd. So, if you want to wait, you can. But why wait? Because there are buyers out there now. Now, you may not sell. There's no guarantee you will sell. But you have a chance of moving the house, getting your money sooner, moving on to whatever you want to go to, put it on now rather than waiting. And then now you're going to compete with more listings. And yes, you may have more buyers,
Right.
but the buyers now have more choices
Right.
than what you have now, which you have very few choices in the next month or so.
Right.
So your best time, I always tell people, they say, when's the best time to buy? Yesterday.
Yes.
When's the best time to sell? Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it's self-serving, but it is the best time because I've seen it historically.
Right.
That's the best time to make that decision is as soon as you're ready to make that decision.
Yeah.
And why are you waiting? Give
Yeah.
me a good reason. Well, I'm going to get a raise. I can buy a more expensive home. I went to Bob Gallagher, and they said I can afford $400 now, but in 6 months I can afford $450 to $500. Well, okay, maybe you want to wait, but guess what? If the house went up 5 to 10% in 6 to 8 months, where did you gain? You
Zero.
lost.
Yeah.
You actually lost because you would have had that money. Instead, now you just gave it to the seller, and you have to pay more for it. So your raise didn't really help you.
Right.
So your best times are always to do it when you've made the decision to buy, make it, and then go forward because that's going to be your best opportunity.
Yeah. Before I forget, Nelson, I want to give out your contact info.
Sure.
So for those of you that are thinking about buying or selling anywhere in the Metro West area and surrounding areas,
Thank you.
give Nelson a call. Nelson Zide, 508-277-7794. The number again is 508-277-7794, or you can email him anytime at nelson@nelsonzide.com.
And you can text me at that 277. So if
Yes.
you like text better, text me, and I'll always get back to you within that same day.
Excellent.
Always,
Excellent.
always.
So we've only got a couple minutes left. Why don't we talk about? I know it always flies by. doesn't it, Nelson?
Always.
Why don't we talk about what your predictions are for the spring going into next year? What do you think is going to happen in real estate?
Well, I don't think we're going to be much different than we are now. We will have a shortage of inventory in all price ranges. Now, I know whatever I read in more in the downtown Boston, the $5 million and up, or even in West and others, the high end, you're probably not going to have a shortage. But on a more normal marketplace,
Under $1 million. say.
under $1 million,
Yeah.
even up to under $2 million in some areas.
Yeah.
If you are there's just going to be a shortage of inventory. You won't have many choices, and that is not going to change. And the interest rates are still historic low. They may go up a little bit this year. That's at least the indication. You know more about this than I do.
Yep.
But the indication is it may go up. So if the values go up 5 to 10%, and let's just take a $500,000 house.
Right.
If it went up 5%, that's $25,000.
Right.
Within 6 months to a year, it goes up.
Right.
So the seller makes it, and the buyer, you lose.
Right.
Why would you want to wait? Because I think it's going to continue to go up. We've gone up between 5 to 10% in most of my markets.
Right.
I don't think it's going to change for next year either.
And saving for a down payment is not a reason to delay purchasing.
No.
I'm still shocked today at how many people think you have to have 20% to buy a house.
You don't need
down.
20%. There are FHA loans at low down payment, even conventional loans at low down payments. There's all sorts of loan programs out there. There's VA loans. I work with a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
There's USDA loans.
Yeah.
I mean, in a little rural area.
Yeah.
Not framing him,
Not
but
framing him, but yeah, there are areas you can
there
buy
are
them.
areas you could do. And you would be, if you say, I got to save for a down payment, you are absolutely losing money.
Yeah.
Absolutely losing money.
Yeah, because you don't have to put anything down in a lot of cases.
No, you really don't.
In the worst case scenario, you're talking about 3 to 3.5%.
Right. And there's always some flexibility in programs. You know, do you guys do soft seconds? You do like 80, 10, 10s?
Yep.
Okay. I know people may know, but it's an 80% first, 10% down payment,
And a 10%
second.
Yeah.
Well, you avoid PMI. It's cheaper.
Right.
Less cash.
Right.
Talk to Bob and his crew at Ross Mortgage. They know this stuff.
Right.
You're foolish not to.
Right. And what is it? Don't wait or you'll be too late.
Don't wait, it'll be too late. And buy a house for your spouse for the holidays.
Great. Nelson, thanks for coming in and talking with us today.
Thank you, Bob. Anytime. My pleasure.
We're going to take a quick break for commercials. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.